Texas Longhorns, led by Arch Manning and Minister of Culture Matthew McConaughey was on the sideline as well. They go to play Georgia at Sanford Stadium, and it does not go well. They end up losing 35-10, get physically dominated. Key stat, if you want to start there, 39 total rushing yards for Texas. Most of those were on their first drive of the game. Just did not control the trenches. Receivers weren't making plays for Arch, which had been a theme of the past couple weeks. They end up dropping 5 passes. And Georgia starts a little slow offensively, especially in that second quarter, but they get rolling down the stretch and get what they want, and then they hit the key offensive, onside kick to get them yet another possession. They go down and score again, and they just end up pulling away and winning, like I said, 35-10. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
Do one of y'all have the Josh Pate stat ready to go?
I don't know what Josh
83.
In the last, they've played Texas and Georgia have played 3 times in the last calendar year. Twice last year, once regular season, SEC championship, and now. And Texas has 83 rushing yards.
Yep.
Thank you, JP. That was my main takeaway. That's just absurd.
And it's causing much unrest among Texas fans of kind of frustration and not really understanding why this is happening against Georgia. Because against almost all other teams, you look the part. You struggle against Ohio State, but the defense at least holds up. Sure, but time and time for the most part, it's like, okay, even if the offense isn't playing that well, we at least are right there on the line of scrimmage. We're limiting their rushing yards as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're not giving up big chunk plays as well. Or, okay, maybe we're giving up some yards, but that offense is humming. And every time we play Georgia, it's like everything just kind of shuts down.
Well, it's I think for any really of the losses that we've seen over the past couple of years for Sark and that Texas team, it has looked completely different to the way losses look here. I think even the Washington playoff game, we lost right there at the buzzer for essentially.
Yeah.
The losses this year against Florida and Ohio State. The Ohio State game, like Jack said, defense showed up. We had our chance at the end. We just didn't capitalize. The Florida game, offense showed up. DJ Lagway cooked us for the most part.
Yeah.
And that it happens, and we were still in that game at the end. The 3 games against Georgia have been not even close, remotely close. The SEC championship was close, but it shouldn't feel that way because Carson Beck gets knocked out at the end of the first half, and you should think you should blow them away in the second half.
Yeah.
But Gunnar Stockton makes plays, and he ends up winning that game. And for me, that was my biggest takeaway right off the bat was Gunnar Stockton has grown so much from what you saw last year in the SEC championship and the playoff against Notre Dame. And he has a really uncharacteristic pick in this game. But other than that, he was pretty much perfect. I mean, on the first drive, he was magnificent. He takes a snap to the cup, to the balls, responds with a 20-yard run the next play. He hits a 25-yard strike to London Humphreys, another strike on the sideline on 3rd and 10 to Zachariah Branch, and then a perfect ball rolling to his right, hitting Noah Thomas for the touchdown. Gig him.
Always.
He was really, really terrific. And then when they needed him in other key spots, he was really great. The touchdown, which it's one of those, it just proves, this play proves that Georgia is the big bro to little bro Texas. When Gunnar Stockton takes the snap and rolls to his right, puts the ball in his arm like he's going to run, and then picks it up and throws it over the top to the tight end who just beats him.
Yeah.
That is a clear showing of, they just own you. They have the mojo over you because you make that kind of mistake. That is something that only happens when another team owns you, and you are so caught up in I need to stop this guy. I got to stop this guy. Oh, he's tucking the ball. That means he's running.
Yeah.
And you lose your fundamentals, and you give up an easy touchdown.
I don't even think that was the biggest big bro moment of the night.
I mean, the onside kick.
The onside kick was the...
Oh, absolutely.
It was the big bro move to end all big bro moves.
And it tells you exactly that they know they're big bro because, could you imagine Georgia doing that against Alabama?
No.
No, because they simply wouldn't.
I actually could because I think I've seen from Kirby in games like that against Bama him get desperate. I think of the Justin Fields fake punt.
Well, then they do it when they're down. They do it when they're down.
They would do it when they're down.
They wouldn't
maybe not up.
They wouldn't do it after a score to get up because they would be scared to give Alabama that kind of momentum.
Sure.
If Texas recovers the onside kick, you know what they do? Doesn't matter. We're going to go shut them down. They're probably not even going to get a first down. We'll get the ball right back.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
Yeah, that was a huge other takeaway was from X's and O's standpoint, Texas's special team was outclassed. It's something that they have been terrific in this year, and because the offense has been terrible and the defense has been great, they've won games with special teams. They end up tying the game against State with special teams. They win the OU game for the most part with special teams. Texas is outclassed. A big momentum kick return after 2 straight touchdown drives from Georgia
100%.
with Ryan Niblett, but there's a holding call, and then all of a sudden Arch Manning is inside his own 5-yard line. That's crazy that it even happens. And, of course, the Kirby Smart onside kick after scoring a touchdown in the second half. And this is the special teams coordinator shown on the sideline.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he was saying, what just happened?
Not a good look.
What just happened? Like, bro, you're the special teams coordinator. You should be locked into this play. How do you not know what just happened? I guess just pure shock at that point.
The special teams coordinator has 15 to 20 plays a game that he really has to focus on.
Yeah.
I agree. And I just want to once again rave about Stockton because to start the season was Stockton's a fine QB, but if Georgia's going to find real success this season, it's going to be because they run the ball really well and that defense gets back to their, championship team ways. And that's simply not the case anymore. Gunnar Stockton can go into the playoffs and go outduel any quarterback in the country and be the better quarterback on the field on that given night. And I just simply didn't see that coming. Props to him, props to his development, just a complete transformation of a player.
He's done it every time this year except one, and I'd argue he kind of did it against Alabama, but they dropped the touchdown over the top. That would have put them ahead. Other than that, he's done it in every game. He's been required to do it. He doesn't throw a touchdown against Auburn, but he was really terrific in leading the 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, and then still leads the drives in the second half. Big plays. He gets into the end zone using his legs. But the Tennessee game, the best, still I think one of the best, if not the best, throw of the season to London Humphreys on the sideline, 4th and 10. And then the Ole Miss game, 7 drives, 7 touchdowns. He's just been terrific. He has 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, which isn't really necessarily impressive, but 70% completion percentage, 156 rating.
And how many rushing touchdowns does he have?
8 rushing touchdowns, 350 yards on the ground, which includes sacks as a part of that. He's been terrific. He has blossomed in front of our eyes. I do feel, though, this isn't like him. I wouldn't say he's he's ascended to where he really has buzz to be a draft pick, like Carson Beck. But I compare him to Stetson Bennett in this way. I just feel different because I feel like it's weird, and this was something I had to grasp after this game of, I still think Stetson Bennett was a fraud, but I don't think Gunnar Stockton is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Am I wrong to feel that way?
I mean, the defenses were different. The supporting casts were different. So I don't necessarily disagree. I still give Stetson Bennett credit.
Absolutely. He won 2 national championships.
But if I had to pick a quarterback for my team, I'm picking Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
I think they would too. Defensively, this was 100%, at least for this defense this year, with the way they've been playing. This was what I think was 100% expected for me, at least, for their response defensively. To hold Texas to 10 points, who had been getting it going offensively. They gave up 250 yards through the air, but Arch Manning 124. Half of that was after the catch.
Yep.
And, of course, only 23 rushing yards on the ground. They were really, really incredible defensively, making huge plays when they had to be out there, which they didn't have to be out there much because Georgia had 4 of those tantalizing drives. They had 4 drives of 30-minute, or not 30.
Golly, wow.
They had over 30 minutes of time of possession, but they had 4 drives of 3 minutes and 30 seconds or longer, all 4 of those drives resulting in touchdowns, 28 points. That was something we hugely highlighted in the Mississippi State game, and they are so good at doing that, obviously, that it is so demoralizing. It has to be so demoralizing to watch as an opposing fan, or if you're cheering against Georgia, which this year I haven't because they're my SEC championship pick, but in most years I would.
Yeah.
It has to be so rough to watch because it's like, man, we just can't get off the field. Man, another third down conversion. Man, all of that. And they convert points off them. They don't get down in the red zone and have to kick field goals. They don't turn the ball over after 15 play drives like Mississippi State did against Missouri. They get in the end zone, they score touchdowns. Yeah. It's so demoralizing for their team. And if their defense continues to force 3 and outs like they did last night against Texas, it just makes their offense so much better because that defense got no rest.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. The question I have for Texas, I don't really have tons of notes offensively. It's kind of more of the same of their struggles this season. Can't really run the ball very well. The offensive line getting a little dominated. And then Arch and the receivers just not being consistent, not on the same page, drops, misfires. So I think Arch played a pretty solid game, honestly.
Texas fans felt that way.
It wasn't really on him. He just didn't get enough help. But now their defense has given up 30-plus points in 3 games to Vandy, to Mississippi State, and now to Georgia. And that feels more surprising to me than anything.
Yeah.
Because that unit I thought was going to be elite to start the season against Ohio State. They only give up the 14 points. Even like in the Kentucky game, it's like, okay, the defense had to go win you that game, and they 100% did that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the root cause is.
They held Oklahoma to 6 points.
Yeah, they held Oklahoma to 6 points. I don't know if it's a bad couple weeks. I don't know if it's frustrations. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. But now it's been 3 weeks. I feel like that's enough to kind of raise the alarm bell. And that's because that's not the Texas defense of last year or early this season.
Yeah, it really begs to question what it'll look like in 2 weeks when A&M comes to town, because A&M has put up boatloads of points. They just had a second half where they scored 4 straight touchdowns.
Yeah,
they can hit you explosively over the top. If A&M's running backs are healthy, they can run the ball really well. Marcel Reed, of course, runs well with his legs. It's going to be. They have one of the best offensive lines in the country too.
Yeah.
So that may neutralize a Colin Simmons and that pass rush for Texas.
Just don't do what we did and try and run a read option with Dylan Stewart being the unblocked guy off the edge.
Yeah.
Don't do that with Colin Simmons because it was a disaster with Dylan Stewart.
I agree. It's really concerning. It's not what you expected. Now Sark is 2-7 in games against top 8 opponents at Texas. One of those wins being the Alabama win at Tuscaloosa, but other than that, he's pretty much had nothing.
What was the
for
other
the
win?
Longhorns. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Was it just a playoff win, or is that regular season?
Well, they wouldn't have been a playoff win because they beat Arizona State.
Yeah, who's not top 10.
And they beat Clemson, who was not top 10.
Yeah, you're right.
Top 8, neither of them.
Maybe they beat Oklahoma one year when Oklahoma was top 10. I don't know.
Maybe under Sark. I can't recall.
Was Oklahoma top 8 when they beat them this year?
Maybe.
They probably. I wonder if they were. Yeah,
Probably were.
Because that was Oklahoma's first loss.
Yeah, they probably were.
They definitely were. They were like
they had
fifth.
to have been.
So that's their 2. So the Bama win's impressive. The Oklahoma win not as much, but it is a troubling issue for Sark.
I agree. I do think this is a cool challenge or like test for Sark in terms of like, okay, you've built this Texas program up to a high level, and now how do you handle adversity when you're at this high level? How do you like patch your team together and find ways to win in ways that isn't your MO? Because Sark's this offensive guy, right? And the offense isn't humming, and now the defense is struggling. So like this is kind of when you really learn about a head coach's mid-season. How can you right the ship? How can you find fast fixes for stuff? How can you keep the locker room motivated, everyone ready to roll, stuff like that? I think it's a cool test for him. Texas fans would not agree that it's a cool test because they have a lot more skin in the game.
Yeah.
But as someone just like outside looking in, curious about Sark as a coach, like, all right, what do you got?
Yeah.
They kind of have responded already a couple times
True.
this season, and so they'll have 2 more opportunities at home to do so against Arkansas, and then A&M on Black Friday.
What a Black Friday, man.
Yeah, we hope.
Oh, gosh. I hope we're all
It could be a nightmare
ecstatic.
scenario.
True.
But let's hope not with the holidays coming. Georgia, their route to the SEC championship now is essentially the least complicated way to say it is they need one of Bama or A&M to go lose on the road in their final game. Of course, if Texas loses to Arkansas, that actually doesn't matter. Why did I even say that? They have to lose one of those games on the road. A&M, I assume, might be like a 2-point favorite. And then Bama is probably over a touchdown favorite, just barely over a touchdown, 7.5, give or take. So they need one of those two things to happen for Georgia to make the SEC championship. The only other way that they can make it is if they win. Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl. Doesn't matter what happens with A&M, Texas. Bama can win. And they need Florida to beat Tennessee. Very possible in Florida. They need Kentucky to beat Vanderbilt in Vanderbilt. They need Arkansas to beat Missouri. Arkansas hasn't won an SEC game. They need, of course, School Up North to beat us, and they need A&M to beat Texas. If those 5 things happen, which 3 of them are favored, but Kentucky winning at Vanderbilt and Arkansas winning at Missouri aren't, Georgia would win the strength of schedule advantage over Alabama.
Sure.
I feel like
because it would be a 3-way tie with one loss in the SEC and Ole Miss, Bama, and Georgia.
I feel like the simple scenario you gave was not the simplest scenario. Did you say Alabama has to lose to Auburn? That's it.
Alabama loses to Auburn or A&M loses at
he
Texas.
said that.
Okay, cool. I thought you.
That's the simplest scenario.
It was an or, not an and.
Or A&M loses to Texas. Okay.
But they're simply right there. Now they don't control their own destiny.
If that doesn't happen, I wonder now, like, let's say Bama beats Auburn. We'll see how the committee does it with their rankings on Tuesday. Does Georgia get the 4 seed if they're above Alabama pre-SEC championship?
Sure.
If they beat Georgia Tech, they more than likely would. Do they get the 4 seed even though Bama played in the SEC championship?
And Bama beat them. That would be interesting.
What we've been assuming is it would be the Big Ten winner and loser and the SEC championship winner and loser as the top 4, but it may be Georgia that still gets that bye.
Yeah.
Really, regardless. That might actually be the best case scenario, unless, of course, they care about conference championships like y'all say people do.
They do.
I'm sure
I'm
they
not
do.
sure the committee does, but people
But they
do
could
in
get the first
programs.
round bye and not have to play in the conference championship. That is, I don't know, because it's not beholden to conference champions like it was last year.